newsroom. Enjoy the hoops and have a great day.
We are continuing to gather reaction to this year's provincial budget as we welcome in the Minister of Finance this morning, Jim Reiter, into studio. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. It's great to be here with you.
Let's talk about the provincial budget. You had to go around and sell this thing yesterday and a little bit more today. How are you selling this document?
It's pretty easy, actually. We're in a strong position fiscally in the province, and a lot of work was put into this budget by a lot of people, and I was privileged to be the one to deliver the speech, and so I'm pretty proud of this budget.
People out there watching don't have any idea what goes into this. So how does this actually come together into one piece of legislation that you...
It starts early, a number of months ago. Every minister comes to Treasury Board, which is a committee of cabinet and MLAs, and presents their asks. There's a lot of process goes through it, and eventually
They throw big dollars at you and you say, well, maybe, but pare that down a bit?
You know, essentially, yeah, that's what it comes to. And then it's a lot to do with setting what the priorities are. And so we heard loud and clear during the election campaign and from citizens in the province since then about where they wanted the priorities, which was clearly going to be affordability. People are worried about that. Education, healthcare, and safety, which is a lot of policing and the courts and that sort of thing. So those were the priorities. That's what we set, and put the onus there. We were pretty fiscally cautious other than those areas.
You do have a surplus. The NDP says that surplus could have been better spent preparing for possible American tariffs. You said yesterday yourself that this could push us into deficit if things go on for too long.
Yeah, if the tariffs are on for any length of time, it could push us into deficit. We've been very open and transparent about that. The issue becomes they're saying, well, you should have had a contingency set aside like some other provinces. But what those provinces did is they just increased what was already a deficit. So, you know, that didn't make any sense to us. That doesn't seem very transparent. Plus, as you've seen with the tariffs, it changes not just by the day, sometimes by the hour. We don't know where that's going to land. We don't know how long it's going to last. So we think the best way to weather that potential storm is just make sure we've got our fiscal house in order right now, and that's what this budget does.
How much did it change over the last couple of days with the STF binding arbitration ruling that the extra dollars had to go into education?
You know, we got that long enough ago. It was a week or two ago, so that's fully baked into this budget, is fully funded in this budget.
How about health care? As people kept saying, we need more money in health care. We need to prioritize that surgical wait list, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely, and we've listened. And that's what this budget does. 6.4% increase in healthcare, so that was priority, and also education. There's a 8.4% increase for funding for school divisions, fully funding, as you mentioned, the arbitrator's report. So those are areas of emphasis in this budget.
You talked about revenue sharing a little bit. The Mayor of Saskatoon's very happy with the number. How do you come to that dollar figure? How do you distribute those dollars? There's
a formula that we put in place a number of years ago. It's 0.75% of the PST. So what you see, significant increase, over 6% in revenue sharing for municipalities, which is unconditional. They can use it as they see fit. And that speaks to the strength of our economy. So it's, you know, as we all shop and buy things, we're paying the PST. As that increases, it increases for municipalities as well.
How do you make sure that the dollars are well spent? You throw $8 billion in healthcare. How do you make sure that they actually are using those to retain doctors, to retain specialists, to hire nurses, et cetera, et cetera?
You've got to make sure you have good people in place, from deputy ministers on down in the different organizations in the SHA. You got to make sure you have people watching that. So it's, as you mentioned, it's a huge organization spending a lot of money. So it's all about the people.
What makes you most proud about this budget that isn't a headline item? It isn't education, housing. Those are the headline items. But what makes you the most proud about this one?
I think it's a broad thing. I think I feel really good about you know, people. The election campaign gives you a chance to talk to people right across the province. You hear what people are saying, what really matters to them, and this responds to that. I feel really good about that.
Affordability is such a broad-based. How do you exactly narrow down what can help people?
It is. There's a lot of things, and there's a lot of things we've had in every budget. There's $2 billion in every budget that's been there for years, that we help to make life more affordable for people. I would say the big one, and there's lots of them in this budget in different areas, but the big one that's essentially helping everyone is income tax reductions. That puts money back in your pocket and my pocket. We know best where we need to spend it, and so we're pretty proud of that.
Mr. Reiter, thank you for a few minutes this morning.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.